Nobody expects anything like this to happen, let alone the attention that it's gotten. It's very surreal.
Can you tell us a little bit about your daughter?
Gabby Petito and Brian Laundrie had captured the imagination of thousands as van life influencers, their social media feed filled with breathtaking landscapes and carefree smiles. With over 1,000 fans who aspired to live a similar lifestyle and more joining each day, Gabby and Brian shared tips and advice on turning the dream of life on the road into a reality. Gabby and Brian were living the dream, sharing their love story with every new destination they reached. But when the camera turned off, something much darker was festering.
A woman disappears on a cross-country trip with her boyfriend in a van.
Were the warning signs there, but overlooked in order to keep up appearances for the fans? There's always been a thin line between what we see in pictures and what hides behind closed doors. There are devastating consequences when our truths become diluted by the need to save face for views. Welcome to Timeless Mysteries. Please like and subscribe. This time of year marks the anniversary of Gabby Petito's untimely death. Today, we discuss the impossible as we dive into the unsettling truth of how this couple's seemingly perfect life spiraled into a nightmare of violence and tragedy. Gabby Petito, a beautiful 22-year-old woman with a bit of star power in her eyes, was from Blue Point, New York. She embarked on a cross-country trip in the summer of 2021 with her fiancé, Brian Laundrie. Their journey, which was supposed to be an adventure of a lifetime, ended in a tragedy that captivated and horrified the nation. The case raised many questions about domestic violence, social media's role in our perception of reality, and the effectiveness of law enforcement agencies in handling domestic violence cases. Gabby Petito and Brian Laundrie met in high school in Blue Point, New York. They started dating in March 2019 and got engaged in July 2020. Their relationship was described by friends and family as passionate but sometimes volatile, with reports of arguments and disagreements. Gabby worked as a pharmacy technician and had dreams of becoming a travel influencer. She was described as outgoing, creative, and full of life. Brian worked at a juice bar in Northport, Florida, but was often described as more introverted and prone to mood swings. He had a darker personality compared to Gabby's. Gabby's family was reportedly supportive of her relationship with Brian, though they had concerns about the couple's arguments. There were no major red flags that could have predicted such a tragic outcome. Friends noted that while Gabby was very active on social media, Brian had a more complicated relationship with it.
Gabby Petito never goes outside.
Often withdrawing from the public eye, Gabby and Brian started their trip intending to document their travels on social media platforms, such as Instagram and YouTube. The couple's posts portrayed an idyllic life on the road. They began their journey in New York and traveled through several states, including Kansas, Colorado, Utah, and Wyoming. Notable stops included Monument Rocks in Kansas, the Great Sand Dunes National Park in Colorado, and Arches National Park in Utah. They documented many of these locations on social media, presenting an exciting adventure. However, behind the scenes, the signs of trouble were palpable, and others began to take notice. Several people who encountered the couple described tense interactions. In Moab, a witness called 911 to report a domestic dispute between Gabby and Brian. Police body camera footage from the incident shows Gabby visibly upset, while Brian appears calm and collected. The police separated the couple for the night, with Brian staying in a hotel and Gabby sleeping in their van. Despite the visible distress, no charges were filed, and the couple continued on their journey. The Moab incident on August 12, 2021, represents a critical missed opportunity for intervention. Despite the clear signs of trouble, the incident was classified as a mental emotional health break rather than domestic violence. This incident has been widely analyzed, and experts believe police intervention was necessary. Signs of domestic abuse were present, but they were not recognized by the responding officers. After the Moab police incident, the couple continued traveling. They were seen at various locations in Wyoming, including the Spread Creek dispersed camping area. During this time, their social media activity slowed down, and Gabby's family received fewer updates. Gabby's mother received a text message from Gabby's phone on August 30, 2021, stating, "No service in Yosemite." However, there is speculation that this message may have been Brian's attempt to mislead her family about Gabby's whereabouts and delay their concern. On September 1st, 2021, Brian returned to his parents' home in Northport, Florida, driving the van the couple had been traveling in, without Gabby. Upon his return, Brian immediately hired a lawyer and refused to speak with the authorities or Gabby's family. Brian's parents, the Laundries, were criticized for their silence and for not encouraging Brian to speak to the authorities. His refusal to provide any information led to critical delays in the search for Gabby. As the search for Gabby intensified, law enforcement agencies, volunteers, and internet sleuths scoured the areas where the couple had traveled. On September 19, 2021, Gabby's remains were found in the Bridger-Teton National Forest in Wyoming. The coroner ruled her death a homicide by manual strangulation, estimating that she had been dead for 3 to 4 weeks before her body was discovered. Meanwhile, Brian Laundrie had disappeared. On September 17, his parents reported him missing, claiming he went for a hike in the Carlton Reserve near their home and never returned. The search for Brian became a media spectacle, with the public and press following every lead. His body was eventually found on October 20, 2021, in a nature reserve with a self-inflicted gunshot wound to the head. Near his remains, authorities found a notebook in which Brian confessed to killing Gabby. While Brian's confession in the notebook seemed to close the case, many questions remain unanswered. What exactly transpired between the couple that led to Gabby's murder? Could Gabby's life have been saved if the Moab incident had been handled differently? Why didn't she tell her parents she wanted to come home? Why did she stay? These lingering questions continue to haunt both the public and those close to Gabby. Perhaps the pressures of maintaining their social media image might have played a role in her decision to stay despite the warning signs. For Gabby, the dream of becoming a successful influencer might have driven her to overlook or downplay the cracks in her relationship.
We've been lucky so far at all the places we've stayed, but I'd say this is one of the best so far.
Stretching, doing some morning yoga.
And the relentless need to save face for their growing audience forced her to ignore the real problem, which ultimately led to this tragic outcome. In the aftermath, Gabby's parents sued Brian's parents, accusing them of knowing about Gabby's death while helping Brian evade law enforcement. The lawsuit was settled with Gabby's parents receiving $3 million, a symbolic amount meant to highlight the emotional toll rather than financial compensation. Following this tragedy, Gabby's mother, Nicole Schmidt, founded the Gabby Petito Foundation, which primarily focuses on supporting organizations and agencies that work with missing persons and victims of domestic violence, rather than directly assisting individuals. Their efforts include raising awareness, providing resources, and collaborating with established groups to amplify their impact. Thank you for joining Timeless Mysteries. Please like and subscribe to my channel. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. Would you have called 911? Or would you mind your own business? How do we prevent such tragedies when the police don't want to be bothered with domestic squabbles? They should know the victim will almost always downplay the situation, protecting the abuser. Why did the police let him go? Until next time, stay safe, stay vigilant, and always question the truth. And remember, there is strength in kindness.